welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a journal with me and attempt to put a journal spread together. This may be a little bit longer than you would want because it is a long process, but feel free to take breaks. First, I'm going to show you all the materials that I use when I sit down to do a journal spread. So this is my new journal kit, the Awakenings journal kit, and it comes in stickers you can order, or you can be printable and cut the pieces out yourself. I also have here some paints because this is what I will choose colors to put down in my journal. And this is the journal I'm using. It's the 2-pack that I've talked about before from Michaels that I use for all my daily spreads because this is what I'll be doing. And of course, my Helix round circle tool that I will use. And I always like to keep a couple of straight edges close to me too in case I need them. The necessary glues. I like the Tombow adhesive runner for some of my heavier pieces that I have to glue down. And this is a really handy dandy planner glue stick, I guess. I like to use this for things that are a little bit lighter, like just paper and not cardstock. A good pair of scissors. I particularly like these because they're nice and pointy and sharp at the end, so I can get in for some tedious cuts if I need to. I have some extra ephemera and journal bits that are left over from some of my other journaling and kits. And oh, of course I can't forget this. I always keep snacks close by when I'm journaling. You never know, you might get hungry. And I keep a little thing of juice next to me, or water, or tea or coffee, whatever I'm feeling in the mood for. This is my pen case. These are all my pens that I use when journaling. This is the gold pen that I get asked about all the time, that I use for some of my details in gold on my pieces. It's just a gold metallic jelly roll pen. I have an eraser, and I may use that, or a pencil. You never know. Put those out. I have a few various other little things, like some washi tapes that I might use. I sometimes will add like little paper embellishments. These happen to be among my favorite papers, scrapbook papers. And then, of course, I have 2 containers of water. I usually use this one for my lighter colors or white, and then I use one for my darker colors. And then all of my paintbrushes that I might use. Oh, and this bleed proof white, of course. Good for stars. Okay, let's get started. So first thing I do is I put some color down on my, let me just make some room here. Stuff everywhere. Okay, first I like to put some color down as my background. And I like to keep it, pretty color coordinated. I like to match things. So I try to pick colors that go together for my backgrounds. I just got paint all over my hands, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to use my big moppy brush to put some water down on my notebook, and then I will add in some colors. Oh, and I should share this ingenious idea. So usually I take water and I swash it all over my page, and then sometimes the water dries up towards the end of my page, and I have to re-wet it. Well, the other day I saw somebody use a spray bottle to like wetten their paper, and I thought, what a great idea. Why haven't I ever done that? And then I found this little spray bottle in my stuff and thought, this is perfect. It's like the perfect size. So if I need to, you know, put some more water on my paper, it doesn't oversaturate it. So, good tip. Okay, I am going to use some purpley colors for my background, and I just usually play with the watercolor. Like I don't plan any of this out. I just put some water on my paper and I let the watercolor work itself on the paper. This color is called Galaxy, and it's by Aloha Watercolors. It's gorgeous. There's a little bit of a shimmer to it. And I just love how it spreads out the way it does. I'm gonna put a little Sugilite Genuine in here. This is a Daniel Smith color, and it also has a real pretty shimmer to it. And I will add just a little bit of Moon Glow, my favorite color. This process is probably my favorite. I could sit at a table with watercolor paper and watercolors and just do this all day. There's something about watching the water and the watercolor flow around a page that is so relaxing for me. I can also probably sit for hours and just paint shapes or moons, watercolor swatches, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything particular. So again, I'm just gonna go in with the same colors because I kind of like how that turned out. And I love how this flows on the paper like this. The Sugilite is kind of a lavender color. It's a little bit shimmery. I don't know if you're able to see the shimmer or not, but it's more of a light lavender color. I just refilled my Moon Glow half pan here, so it's still wet and it's really sticky. That's what was all over my hands a little bit ago. See, so it's a little dry up here, so I'm going to take this little tool and do a little water spray there. So a lot of you ask about this journal and if it warps if I put watercolor on it, and does it wrinkle, or how does it take the water? And you can see it wrinkles a little bit, but I don't mind that. I mean, some people don't like their journals wrinkled, and I would imagine that if you were working in like, you know, a planner or something with a little bit thinner pages, it's not going to hold watercolor very well. But this journal, like from Michaels, is like super inexpensive and it works just fine for me. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, like the watercolor, the quality of watercolor makes all the difference with watercolor. I know that some people would tell you to start off with like really cheap watercolor or something inexpensive, because if you're just starting out, it doesn't make sense to spend a lot of money on watercolor. But I actually feel opposite about that because I feel like watercolor is a beautiful medium. Like it can be really amazing when colors come together. And sometimes when there's cheap watercolor, the watercolor is chalky and it doesn't spread out like this, and it's frustrating. And so people think they're doing it wrong because the watercolor isn't turning out how they think it should. And so when you invest in watercolor that's a little bit higher quality, maybe more expensive, I feel like you're not gonna get as frustrated. The watercolor almost does the work for you, just like this, how these colors kind of intermingled. And maybe you don't like that. Maybe you like more of a solid color and not so much granulation and colors mixing together. So my suggestion, if you do like that, would be to work with like acrylics, or gouache can work like that. Otherwise, try out a few different kinds of watercolor. Maybe there are some inexpensive ones that would work just fine. I don't know, but my experience with them is the better quality the watercolor is, the better effects I get and the less frustrated I am. So that, I'm going to let this dry for a second while I pick out the things I want to put in my journal. So usually my daily journal, I like to keep pretty minimal. So I will put like maybe a place to write some notes down, or some things that I need to do for the day, accomplish for the day. So like I would put something like this or this, and just kind of write down my tasks for the day. I feel like if I write no more than 3 things down that I want to accomplish for the day, it happens. If I overpopulate myself with things I have to do all day long, it doesn't always get done. It doesn't get done. I'll just be real. So I put usually 3 things that I need to get done. And sometimes I'll put like a couple more things that I know are coming down the pipeline, or things that I need to remember. I will do that. I don't make a daily journal every single day, or a daily spread every day. It's usually like on the weekends. Excuse me. I'll put a daily spread together just to kind of keep me on track, because I have, the days off, and I would literally sit and do art all day if I could. So I kind of use it more on the weekends than I do during the week, because my week is pretty routine. Like, I get up, I go to work, I come home, make dinner, get kids off to bed, etc., etc. So I like to, keep my weekends organized like that. And then usually I'll put, like if I have a quote or something that really struck me through the week, or even sometimes my own thoughts, I'll just put on a little note section. And then I like to, just decorate the rest with some, pretty embellishments or stickers. Just kind of whatever speaks to me. There is really no right or wrong. There is no rhyme or reason to any of it. I just go with it. Journaling for me is a therapeutic time. It's a time to sit down and do what I love, uninterrupted. Well, almost uninterrupted. I do have 2 kids that usually need something every few minutes, but I try to do it uninterrupted. It gives me a sense of accomplishment, I guess, when I can finish a journal spread. So, okay, on that note, I'm gonna pick out a few things. And this is my latest journal kit, and I just really like it a lot. I like the colors, I like the theme. It makes me feel calm. I don't know, maybe it is the colors. This journal kit also goes really well with my Goddess journal kit. So it kind of makes things handy when there are several things that go together. You can interchange them. So I think for this journal spread, I'm probably going to use, these are my stickers. So I'll probably use my stickers as embellishments for this, and then I'm going to use my printable kit for the things that I like to write on. So like my little daily calendar, I usually write things on. So let's see, tomorrow's Friday. I'll cut out Friday. Okay. So here's Friday. And I'll probably cut out a little notes section. I feel like this is going to be heavy purple, so I might have to stay away from more of the purpley colors in here, or it's going to blend right in. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so now that I've got these cut out, this is for my notes section, I think I will just add in some of the other embellishments as stickers and stuff as I put my spread together. So I need to dry this a little bit more before I start laying paper on it because it's still kind of wet. So let me just dry that really quick. Okay, so it's dry. I dry both sides of my paper just so I know that it's nice and dry. So you can see this is a little bit wrinkly. You can see it kind of crinkled a little bit, and now it's not as smooth and soft, and it makes some noise, but that's how I like my journal pages. If you don't, that's totally fine. Some people don't like to dry their pages either. It can dull the paint a little bit. It can also make the pages a little bit weak, but this seems to hold up just fine. This was my last spread. I actually did it upside down, but you can see this is a little bit wrinkly too. Not so bad though. After it dries and lays flat for a little bit, then it isn't so wrinkly. So one thing I forgot to do is I like to put stars in all my pages, and the easiest way to make stars is just splattering some white paint around. So let me do that, and then I will continue to dry this a little bit. Okay, so I'm liking how this looks so far. It's kind of giving me galaxy feels, so I like it. Just get a quick snack. Okay, now I usually just kind of lay things out first, decide what pieces of paper I'm going to use where, and then I glue everything down. And this can be an extensive process for me. Like, I'm indecisive. I tape things down, glue things down, and then I decide I don't like it, and then I pull it up and redo it. But as time has gone on, I've learned to just go with it. Let it go. Don't waste so much time on it. So I like to pull out a few embellishments that I might want to use. And these are all from like kits and stuff that I have. So I need something in the background to kind of not neutral, but make sure that the colors of the journal kit doesn't blend in with this too much. So I'm kind of looking for something that isn't the same color. So I can't decide. Having trouble. What I'm talking about. I get really indecisive about how I want to put my spreads together. So we're not going to use this. We're going to use something different. And right now I'm just going to cut all my pieces out of paper so I can arrange them on my journal how I want to, without worrying about sticking things down and gluing things down and then not liking it. Okay, now that I've got this somewhat laid out, then I start putting the pieces down and adding pieces where I need to. But it's kind of a process in getting things laid out just how I want to. So I had to kind of focus on that for a minute. But I will use a combination of papers and stickers to put this down. But I cut all these little pieces. I cut them out of my printable journal kit so that I could arrange it like that. But I won't use most of those pieces that I cut out. So I can just use the stickers and I don't have to worry about putting glue on them to adhere them to the journal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, now I've got my main pieces down that I want to put on my spread. I usually like to go in and write my quote or whatever it is that inspired me through the day. I'll usually put here. And then I put my tasks for the day over here. And once I have that down, if I feel like I want to add some more embellishments, I usually do. I think if you've seen my journal spreads before, you know I'm pretty extra when it comes to adding other things in. So I'm going to go ahead and write my my to-do list here and a simple quote here. Okay, now I will probably add a few more embellishments to kind of fill up some of the space, and then I'll go in and add my final touches. Okay, I'm pretty much done with that. I like to leave a little bit of the background open these days. I don't like to add too much, but I have a tendency to want to like add in all the embellishments that I can, and sometimes I have to stop myself and be like, okay, enough is enough. So next, I like to just go in with some pens, either white or silver or gold, depending on what color scheme I like. And I like to add in little stars, and then I like to do my little circle maker and add in some circles. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now I'm going to use my circle maker, and I'm going to use a different silver pen. This one, it gets kind of gunky at the bottom on the texture of the watercolor, so it's kind of hard to make a smooth line sometimes with this. So I'm going to use this one. to me, these circles represent a lot. They represent the cycles of life. They represent a lot of the planets. They're all circular, obviously, but I feel like the circle really represents a lot in life, and that's why I like to add them into my journal. And these are also, I like to add little circles on the lines, kind of like a solar system. Okay, it's done. That's how I put a journal spread together. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it brought you some inspiration. Everything that I've used today, I will link down below so that you can find it. Thank you for joining.